Suck on this! Suck on this! Suck on this! I feel good! Suck on this! Suck on this! Suck on this! Carl and Damon here from Games, Brains, the Headbang Live. We're flashing back to the PlayStation 1 for the third-person shooter video game, Apocalypse. Released in 1998, developed by Neversoft and published by Activision. It features actor Bruce Willis, who provided the main character's likeness and the voice. The story sees an evil scientist named the Reverend create 4 horsemen of the apocalypse: war, plague, beast, and death, in order to ensure that the apocalypse actually comes to pass. His former colleague, Trey Kincaid, Bruce Willis, is the only man with the know-how to stop the Reverend, but he has been locked up in jail and must escape in order to save the world. Things we like, things we don't like, favorite moments, scenes, bits of music. I'll get started with some things I like. What was particularly appealing for me about Apocalypse was that it was a multi-directional shooter using the dual shock, the left dual shock for movement, the right for shooting in the desired direction. This gave it a really cool arcade feel, and I've always remember having a lot of fun with that system.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, my first one is one of the obvious ones. The fact that Bruce Willis done the voice of it.
Okay.
I mean, quite obviously quite a big name to get for the part. So.
Oh, agreed. Incredibly big, hilariously big. You're almost like, how? And yeah, Bruce Willis for me as well. At the time of the release, I was such a big fan, and he was coming off this same period, The Fifth Element. So this dude was high, and The Fifth Element is I love The Fifth Element. It's a great film.
A great film.
Yeah. So like Bruce Willis was hot shit at the time. The story. I'm personally a big fan of Apocalypse Horsemen style stories. It's kind of why I love the Darksiders series so much. So end of the world stuff, it's just my jam. So for me, I really like the story.
Yeah, I mean, if you want a game which is just basically running around shooting, killing people, then it's a great game for that. Literally, just constant wave and wave and wave of bad guys, and kill them.
Yeah, it's easy. Yeah, you're right. There's that arcade feel. Splatterhouse, destroy everything in sight. Level variety. There was actually quite a fair bit here. Breaking out of prison, sewers, rooftops, graveyards, goth clubs. There's a lot of fun level designs and there's a lot of variety. Even if it all amounts to the same thing, get to the end of the level while shooting everything in sight. They at least came up with clever ideas for it.
Yeah, definitely a lot of variety. And again, for me, the variety on weapons. There was a number of different weapons you could use.
Yeah. You had your base, which was like a machine gun, and then you'd pick up the others that were like power-ups, and you'd have like flamethrower. I always remember the green laser being particularly devastating.
Yeah, and there's the rocket one too, which is pretty cool.
Of course. Yeah, there was homing, and just normal. You're right. Do you have anything else?
No, that's about it, yeah.
Things we don't like then. All right. Even though I put him in the like, I'm putting him in the dislike as well. Bruce Willis. Now, okay, I know this isn't his fault because the original plan was for him not to be the star. He was going to be the sidekick and he was going to have a lot more dialogue and stuff like that. But the original plan for the game changed very quickly. And so he ended up just being the face and a couple of lines. However, when you do look at his face in the game, it looks fucking weird. It really looks weird. And all he basically, his voice acting came down to was a bunch of one-liners. Crappy repeating one-liners. I feel so good, you know? Son of a hell, let God sort them out. And just one-liners. And they would repeat so often. They had Bruce Willis. They wasted Bruce Willis.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing too. Is the voice repeat overs was so annoying when you hear it for the first time, then for the 100th time, it's like, okay, yeah.
Yeah, agreed. The game is impossible to play with a D-pad. You need analog sticks for this. I've tried playing it with a D-pad, and the directional shooter you can't shoot diagonally. It's really awkward to do. Your aim is going to be a mess. It is very, very difficult to do. You need the whatever you would call it, the free flowingness of the analog sticks. Playing it with a D-pad to me is near impossible.
Yeah, I mean, for me, another one was the angles. The way you moved, the way the screen moved. There's times when you had to jump from side to side, and try and judge from where the platform was always so annoying because you'd always fall or miss the edge, or there's parts where you got to jump up like ledges, and you can never tell where you are because of the way the camera moved.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Some of the platforming sections are crazy for that. And do you remember this particular segment? I picked one out. There's a massive platforming segment where you've got to go through the streets of a destroyed city with lava all over the floor. And it's got moving lifts, like moving things and all that. And the camera and the way it works and the fact that getting depth perception is the problem. As Damon said, you can't quite work out where the distance of something is. So you're not sure if the jump's going to work. It's got a lot of awkward jumps. Like I said, the moving lifts. You're going to lose a lot of lives at that section.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I definitely remember that level.
Do you got any more?
No, that's about it, really.
I got one more, which is the first half of the game is way more memorable than the latter half. I would say the prison breakout, the sewers, the roof, maybe not the rooftops area, the graveyard, basically all the way up to the boss battle with Plague in the graveyard, in the goth club. All of that I remember really strongly. After that, I'm a bit like, oh, okay, that kind of thing. I always remember the first half game more.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Favorite moments, scenes, and bits of music. I got one, and it's lazy. And it's the reveal of Plague. So Plague has taken the body of your girlfriend. So it's in the goth club. And you get there and you get a cutscene of her like she's a singer in a band. And she's singing, and then backstage she starts to act all sexy to him, come on to him. And he's like, baby, what's wrong? And then she transforms into Plague. That's kind of cool, right?
Trey Kincaid, I'll be damned. Was it you who crashed the chopper out front?
That's not a chopper, baby. It's a hover bike.
Never could keep your stick straight, could you?
I'm sorry we haven't hooked up lately, baby, but I've been playing dead.
I've missed you too much to be angry. My body becomes warm when I think of your flesh shredded
Oh,
and
baby,
devoured
not
by
you
my
too.
viruses. Oh, yeah, I missed you. Give Mommy a kiss before you face.
Yep, she's still pissed.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I don't really have any specific favourite moments. I mean, and music-wise, it was pretty much the same music throughout the entire game. There wasn't much change in it. I suppose my favourite moment was turning it on and then turning it off.
Yeah, we'll leave it there then. There's our flashback of Apocalypse. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. You can check us out on gbhbl.com as well as on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and Tumblr. Go to Patreon to help us out over there. That's patreon.com/gbhbl, as well as Big Cartel, where you can find some of our merchandise. We have a podcast running on SoundCloud and Apple Podcasts. And of course, if you like this video, do us a favour, hit the subscribe button and help the channel grow. Games, horror and heavy metal. What else is life for?